Welcome to the HR and Payroll course. Establishing a career in the human resources and payroll management fields can open up doors for long-term career stability. After all, every company in every industry across the country needs quality employees in these roles. But getting your foot in the door requires more than just a desire to start a new career path. First, you have to have a resume that shows how ideally suited you are for these support staff positions. In this module, we will introduce you to the basics of working in both human resources and payroll management. With this information, you will be able to make an educated decision about which path you would prefer to pursue. From there, we will define what hiring managers are looking for when it comes to filling these roles, and how to best situate yourself for those opportunities that await. Human Resources Management, or HR, focuses on the human elements of running a business. While other departments may be committed to providing customer service or increasing sales, which are the aspects of growing a business, the HR department is integral to keeping those departments afloat. This involves recruitment, sourcing, hiring and training, workforce planning and corporate strategy, employee relations, boosting employee morale, legal compliance, compensation and benefits, and diversity and equality. In the U.S., HR positions are referred to as support staff positions because they complete the people tasks necessary to keep a company afloat and support the organization and employees working there. A career in human resources might be right for you if you enjoy working with people. A career in HR will have you interfacing with many employees and functions. And within this, you may have to use lots of different soft skills. Sometimes you will need to show empathy, while at other times, you might need to take a firmer line, or to negotiate or mediate between various people or departments. You like problem solving. An HR career requires you to seek creative and proactive solutions and answers. You are a good communicator. Working in HR involves routinely sharing important information. You care about doing the right thing. A big part of HR is keeping your company in compliance with applicable laws. And you can stay calm under pressure and in conflict. Sometimes HR professionals will have to deal with conflicts and disagreements that arise in the work environment. You should be able to stay calm, be diplomatic, and help both parties to come up with a solution that works for everyone. In order to be successful in an HR capacity, you need to possess these skills. Strong communicator. Your ability to engage with others will be one of the greatest skills you can bring to the table. Organization. HR professionals are often juggling several things at once. Organization is key to being a strong multitasker. Discretion. Much of what you deal with in HR will require some level of confidentiality. Conflict management. Managing the human aspects of an organization may frequently mean playing referee and helping different personalities to blend together as a team. Even if you have never worked in human resources before, jobs in the service industry, retail management, or administrative positions in various industries could serve as proof of your skills in these areas. A strong payroll management candidate should possess these skills. Mathematically inclined. You will be dealing with numbers on a regular basis, which means that you must be good at making basic calculations. Computer-oriented. Most companies now utilize payroll software to maintain their records. You must be proficient enough with computers to learn and work with new software. Handles stress well. Payroll managers and administrators are often working under strict deadlines and high pressure. Detail-oriented. A misplaced comma or a wrong number can cost a company big in payroll. For those making a career change into human resources and payroll management, here are a few key resume tips to consider. Start with a strong cover letter, one that makes clear your determination to join this new field, highlighting the experience you believe makes you most qualified. Opt for a functional resume format. This has you detailing your skills at the top of your resume, where a hiring manager's eye is most likely to linger. Your previous position titles are then merely listed at the bottom. In this way, you can draw attention to what you are capable of as opposed to what industries you have worked for, and positions you have worked in the past. Use prove-its. This basically means you should provide quantifiable details to back up the skills you claim. So instead of using a generic line like, "great with money," you would include something from your past work history that proves this fact. Perhaps, maintained a zero-loss drawer for 100 days running as a cashier at a fast-paced store. But, in general, this is what has been found about the various generations who may be in your workforce. Silent generation, 1929 to 1945. The vast majority of this generation has retired in recent years, but those still around value fairness and loyalty at the companies they have likely put decades of work into. Baby boomers, 1946 to 1964. Boomers are process-oriented and relationship-focused. They care about doing their best and making a contribution in their careers. Generation X, 1965 to 1976. This generation prefer flexibility in their work schedules and environment, and strive for a healthy work-life balance. They value feedback and development opportunities. Generation Y, 1977 to 1997. More than any other generation before them, millennials are educated, techno-savvy, and looking to make their mark. They're also known for needing new challenges and always looking out for different opportunities. Combining a variety of different personalities in an office setting is already challenging enough, without taking these generational differences into consideration. How do you address the situation while maintaining the focus on conflict resolution? Look for allies. Having even just one person in senior management who values the rules and regulations as much as you do can make a huge difference in how your concerns are received. Address concerns in private. Those in leadership positions often care a great deal about their professional reputation, and therefore don't take kindly to being questioned or corrected in public. Schedule private meetings with perhaps just 2 members of HR or one of your allies in attendance. Communicate clearly, compassionately, and professionally. Don't go into these meetings in an accusatory way. Instead, explain why the violated policy matters and what consequences the violation could bring upon the company. When possible and with violations that aren't completely egregious, let the offending leadership member know that you understand mistakes happen and offer opportunities for future training into how to avoid crossing ethical or legal lines in the future. Document everything. This goes for any similar meeting you may ever have, regardless of if the offending party is in leadership or an entry-level position. Always document the offense, the conversation that took place, and any resulting steps that were made to prevent future violations. Ultimately, you want your leadership team to be on your side. Your job is so much easier if they are backing you up when you work to enforce these same rules throughout the company, rather than treating you like an annoyance. So seek out ways to connect with your leadership team members and to praise good behavior and decisions at least as often as you point out policy mistakes. Every employee should be classified as either non-exempt or exempt upon hire or promotion. Non-exempt. These employees will usually represent the majority of your workforce. They are paid by the hour and are entitled to overtime when they work over 40 hours a week or 8 hours a day, per FLSA. Exempt. There are, of course, a few exceptions that can qualify an employee as exempt instead. These employees are paid on a salary basis and are not eligible for overtime. This affords them more freedom in their schedules, but being exempt usually carries an expectation of finishing the work on time, working nights and weekends if that's what it takes. Sick days. For companies that designate between sick and vacation leave in the U.S., there are a few distinctions that exist. Sick leave is not considered a wage benefit, in that employees are not entitled to a payout of unused leave. And employers also don't have to roll over unused sick days. In the UK, the rules are slightly different. Some companies have a company sick pay scheme. This scheme must pay out more than statutory sick pay, £96.35 a week, for every week that an employee is too unwell to attend work. If the company does not have a company sick pay scheme, they must pay statutory sick pay at £96.35 per week. This can be paid out for up to 28 weeks. This is paid out to employees who have been off work for 4 or more non-working or working days in a row, earn more than £120 a week, and let the employer know about the sickness within a reasonable time frame. Personal or vacation days. In the U.S., some companies choose not to have designated sick days at all. Instead, employees receive a bank of paid time off, PTO. They are able to use as either personal or vacation leave. This time is considered a payable benefit, and employees are eligible to a payout of remaining time upon termination or voluntary resignation. However, companies are allowed to place a cap on how much PTO an employee has within their bank. The rules dictating this are determined at the state and federal level. Payroll is responsible for recording and paying out used sick and PTO days, while also ensuring banks are deducted appropriately. In the UK, employees are legally entitled to paid holiday, which is known as annual leave or statutory leave entitlement. This may or may not include bank holidays. An employee who works a 5-day week is entitled to 28 days paid annual leave each year. A part-time employee will receive this on a pro rata basis. Parental leave. In the U.S., generally parents are allowed 12 weeks of parental leave each, 24 in total. These are generally unpaid, though some companies may choose to pay employees while they are on leave. In the UK, eligible employees can take up to 52 weeks of maternity leave, 39 of which are paid. The first 26 weeks are known as ordinary maternity leave, and the last 26 as additional maternity leave. The first 6 weeks are paid at 90% of average weekly earnings, while the following 33 weeks are paid at 90% of average weekly earnings or £151.97 per week, whichever is lower. These will then be subject to tax and national insurance. Employees recover some or all of the statutory maternity pay they pay out to their employees from HMRC. Alternatively, couples can opt for shared parental leave and statutory shared parental pay instead, which can be used for both giving birth and for adopting a child. It is paid at £151.97 a week, or 90% of average weekly earnings, whichever is the lower figure. Many couples decide to stop maternity leave after the first few weeks of 90% pay, and then shift onto the shared parental leave scheme instead. Other miscellaneous employee benefits. Most companies also offer a variety of miscellaneous benefits. These might include travel pay and per diem, fuel reimbursement, car allowance, gym membership, childcare vouchers, or moving or relocation expenses. Some of these benefits may originally be negotiated through HR, or may be regulated by employment laws, but all will eventually come to payroll for disbursement. Congratulations! You've made it to our last module. By now, you should have a better understanding of the basics involved in an HR or payroll management career. In this module, we're going to focus on the management aspect of that title. How do you best manage the human or payroll aspects of a corporation? We're going to talk about important topics like communication and the ever-changing technological landscape we are all working within. By the end of this module, you should have the knowledge to go into an interview and confidently present yourself as a competent contender for the job, not to mention a valuable asset to any corporation. Because not only will you understand the technical aspects of your job, you'll also be better prepared to navigate the personal aspects. And when it comes to working in a support staff position, those personal aspects are often just as important as any data entry may be. It has been repeatedly shown that employees are more productive and loyal when they work for a corporation that is open and honest with them. Obviously, there will be some information that can't always be shared, or some aspects of running a business that aren't pertinent to all the employees in that business. But whenever possible, keeping your employees informed is absolutely valuable. And how you do that matters. It's not enough to send out the occasional staff-wide email, or to count on quarterly meetings for sharing important information. There will be times when email isn't sensitive enough for what needs to be shared, or when personal follow-up is necessary. For these reasons, having multiple layers of communication and understanding when those layers are most valuable is crucial. Potential layers include your management staff. Those who work between your executive team and the rest of your staff can be a valuable asset for sharing information. Things like new sales goals or concerns about unsavory media reports, for instance. In these instances, holding meetings with your management staff to go over the key points and then hold smaller meetings with their REM and departments. Email. Using the company email system can be a great way to share information that affects every employee, but make sure that whatever you share with everyone is not confidential in nature. Memos. Posting paper memos in places like the intranet, break room, and department meeting areas can be perfect for announcing things like internal job openings. Staff meetings. These larger-scale meetings are ideal for rolling out policy changes and more sensitive information that affects the company at large. Don't hold a meeting when an email will do, though, as this just disrupts productivity. When it comes to running staff meetings, whether on a larger scale or within smaller departments, there are a few important things to keep in mind. Keep it brief. Don't try to pack too many announcements in one meeting. It can get overwhelming and some information won't be retained.